For more on Rousseff's fall and Temer's rise to power, I'm joined by Marcus Troyjo. He's a professor at Columbia University. He is also a former diplomat and held the title of press secretary at the Brazilian mission to the UN. Thank you so much for joining us from Brazil.
Thank you, Elaine. My pleasure to speak to you.
Marcos, everyone, was expecting Rousseff to be barred from public office, but she actually retains her political rights. Will we see her run for office again?
I don't think so, Elaine, because the presidential candidate for 2018 is very clearly the former President Lula. I think at the end of the day, the arrangement that was reached by the different political forces in Brazil that led to this impeachment favors many different factions, and it's strangely enough, it also favors the Workers' Party, because not only is Brazil now facing the worst recession in the past 115 years, but the road ahead towards 2018 only promises more sacrifice on the part of population, not only because of the macroeconomic adjustment that has to be carried forward, but also because we have to dive deep into some of the structural reforms that the 13 years of the Workers' Party in power in Brazil simply overlooked. Brazil has to modernize its labor legislation, its social security, its tax system to make Brazil more competitive. And this was too much of a daunting task for the Rousseff Workers' Party government to face now. So it gives the Workers' Party the narrative that they be victims of a coup, and that may favor in some sort Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva in 2018. But I don't think Dilma is going to be part of that political landscape come 2 years and a half from now.
Well, she seemed optimistic, after that vote. She wants to appeal the vote and bring it to the Supreme Court. What is the process there, and is there a chance it could be overturned?
No, I don't think there's any chance at all we're going to see a reversal of fortune here. Dilma Rousseff is probably going to move to her state of Rio Grande do Sul down. She will continue being an important political voice in Brazil. I don't think she's going to run for office. I think her party will concentrate all of its efforts in pushing the Lula candidacy forward in 2018. And they're going to give up fighting the legal battle, in my opinion. They will retain the political narrative that this was a coup, which, as I see, doesn't make any sense. But it's something that they will carry in their pockets as a card that they want to play on the table come the 2018 presidential elections.
Dilma Rousseff made history as the first female president of Brazil, groundbreaking, but how will she be remembered?
I think she will be remembered, unfortunately, Elaine, as one of the worst presidents in Brazilian history. I mean, since Brazil had a very impressive economic expansion in 2010, when Brazil grew by 7.5%, ever since she took office in 1st of January 2011, Brazil has been a combination of mediocre growth and recession. Not only did she do away with some of Brazilian conquests of the past 15 years, like fiscal responsibility, inflation under control, economic expansion, but she also messed up with other aspects of Brazil's political economy, like, for example, the using the public prices practiced by state-owned companies like Petrobras or Eletrobras in the electric sector, which helped her win the elections in 2014, but left a terrible legacy in terms of the adjustment that these companies have to perform in order to once again serve the public and its shareholders. So it's not going to be a mandate to be remembered, I'm afraid, for Dilma Rousseff.
We have about a minute left. You are there in Brazil. What has been the mood there on the streets? How's the general public reacting to what happened?
Well, and I think this decision was expected. I think there's not much left. There's not much fight left in those who support Dilma Rousseff. I think they're quite resignated with the results. They will now focus their energy on Lula, who's still he's still a very important political figure in Brazil. I don't think he's going to have the political support to carry him back to the Planalto Palace in 2018, but still a very important player. And the notion now is that there's a kind of rainbow effect for Brazil, because on the one hand, the macroeconomic perspective has improved. The real, the Brazilian currency, is the one that has gained the most against most global currencies in 2016. The stock exchange in São Paulo has also performed very well as the anticipation of a period of economic adjustment that I think we'll be seeing in the next couple of months. And if that macroeconomic perspective improving, if that is married by the structural reforms that I think President Temer will enact in the next 2 years and 4 months, then I think what is now a sort of honeymoon between president and market will actually be converted into something that's much more of a firmer base for Brazil to regain its place as one of the world's most dynamic economies.
All right, Marcos Troyjo, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us from Brazil.
My pleasure.